Hello, everyone. I am back with another interview here on the Movie Graveyard. I am joined by a man who's been shot, stabbed, blown up, beat up, plays the bad guy, I think all but twice. The great actor and fight coordinator, martial artist, stuntman, Mr. James Lew. Thank you so much for joining us today.
It is absolutely my pleasure to be here.
Now, I got to say, one of my favorite movies as a kid. You were the stuntman for the great Johnny Yoon. I'm talking about 1982. They Called Me
goodness.
Bruce. I love that. I just watched it a few months ago. I still love that movie.
Yeah, the fellow, the stunt coordinator, Mike Madrell, who's unfortunately has passed away, he brought me on, and he just explained the scene, and he said, I really want something. That fight when he fights, I think it was 3 guys. He said, this is the first time we see him. We got to make something really cool, outlandish, and it introduces the character. And I said, God, what can I do? What can I do? So I came up with this idea that this one kick would take all 3 of them out, surrounding them in one ta-ta-ta-ta. So it was going to start with a front, and the leg goes to the next guy to the right and comes all the way behind to a hook kick. So it was like hook side, and Johnny said, let me do it. Let me try it. I said, I'll do it for you. So he tried it, and he fell on the floor. Then he looked at me and said, okay, you do it.
Now, in real life, did he know martial arts?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, he's just a funny guy, though. Really good.
Did you ever think all these years later that film would have a cult following, a Blu-ray release and everything like that?
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's anytime I post a picture, people remember it. It's I remember there was a sequel too. They still called me Bruce, but yeah, I loved it as a kid. I'm 46 now. I still love it.
Yeah, it's when you're on the set and you're watching, you start like, I'm gonna laugh. Don't laugh out loud. That's when it's just good. It's quirky.
No, I mean, I liked it. It was great, and you did, you were in a little bit in Going Berserk. Then you were in another movie that no one talks about with Philip Ray, and still no one talks about it. L.A. Street Fighters.
Oh, yeah, originally it was called Ninja Turf.
Well, you had to have the ninjas in the 80s.
Yeah, that was the Ninja time. Distributors want, just put Ninja on it.
Yeah, I believe the poster even has like a ninja claw.
Yeah. Yeah, there was some fun stories of that, because I've known Philip, from way back. So he said, come on, just help me. I got to do this movie. And I said, all right, let's go. So the things you do.
I just interviewed Simon last week.
Yeah, he told me. Yeah, he said he had a good time with it.
Oh, good. That's always good to hear.
Yeah.
See, I like those, like, you were, of course, Chang Sing, Big Trouble in Little China, which,
yep.
I'm sure you've asked 1,000 questions about Big Trouble in Little China. Nothing I could ask you that, you hadn't been asked before. It's a great movie. I do enjoy the movie, but right that next year, movie that I really like with the Crease from Karate Kid, Martin Cove, you got to do some stunt work for the movie Steel Justice.
Oh, wow. That's right.
I watched that not that long ago either. Good film.
Yeah, Marty is great. He's such a character. I got to know him, as a personal friend, because my other buddy in Colorado was doing a movie. He got to know him, and then we went to visit him at his house and hang out with him. He's a bigger-than-life character. Just what he's plays in. And amazing. His career has resurfaced bigger than ever now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did a lot of good martial art films that just kind of went under the radar. I think he's always been known as Kreese.
Yeah. Well, there's, at least as long as they remember you, that's all they remember.
Action Jackson, a movie I thought there should have been. I thought right now I should be watching Action Jackson 18, but there was only one.
Yeah.
You were one of the instructors in that, teaching Craig T. Nelson until he got carried away on you there.
Yeah, that was kind of one of those things to establish his character, that he's so nasty he would break his instructor's arm for the heck of it. So we're like, oh, he's a bad guy.
And then, wasn't Al Young one of his henchmen later in the film?
He's everybody's henchman.
Yeah, that's true. He usually gets killed too.
Yeah.
You needed to do a movie where you guys team up.
Oh, what was it again?
You and Al Young should did a movie where you teamed up and killed everybody else that always killed you guys on the screen.
You know what? I always thought it would be so cool to do a movie about the villains. All just bad guys. Mm-hmm. They're actually the leads.
So. You did stunt work for They Live, another John Carpenter movie. One, in my opinion, probably John Carpenter's best film. Do you have any memories of that one?
I didn't really do that much. I forgot. I can't even remember what I did on it. Probably, it's all blur. So, that's the one you got killed at. No, they're all like that.
At least when you did the Andy Sedaris movies, you got killed and there was a lot of nudity around you.
Oh, beautiful girls. You can't complain. And Andy was such a funny man, and he knew it. This is all for selling movies, and he said, this is as good as it gets, guys.
And it worked, and then, you got reunited with Philip Ray for Best of the Best. You fought, if my memory serves, you were the one that fought Eric Roberts at the end, correct?
That was just my guy with Eric Roberts. Alexander Grady.
How? Now, he said he had learned a little bit of martial arts when I interviewed him before the movie. What was it like working with him, in like one of the main fight scenes, because clearly you're another level of martial arts at the time, and he was kind of just a movie star. How did that all blend together?
I thought he did extremely well for, basically starting from nothing, to do kicks and, the whole different side. Like, Taekwondo is not something you just pick up really quick.
No.
So he was great. And to work with a great actor, across from you that's giving you the emotion behind the fight, it pumps you up. It really helps your performance.
You weren't in part 2, were you?
No. They left the Korean. The storyline went away from the Koreans.
Yeah, the storyline went south. Don't get me wrong, it's my favorite of the series, but yeah, that was a totally different film there. But I mentioned.
Yeah, it was a different tone. Suddenly he went, the whole. Was it Las Vegas? Yeah, he did the Las Vegas.
Las Vegas,
the second one.
Underground Arena of Death, which was very popular at the time.
Yeah, I went away from the big, clean martial arts to the tournament type, and went down to what's the one that Jean-Claude?
Bloodsport.
I went Bloodsport.
A lot of movies. That was always kind of the cool thing about those movies back then. Like if it was Underground Arena, then there's a bunch of them. Then there was Hunting Humans. There's a bunch of them. I always kind of liked how they kind of. One that was a little different though was the one we talked about a little bit before we recorded, when you were in The Perfect Weapon with Jeff Speakman.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to tell you that did you think, when you were filming that, because you had the big scene with Mr. Speakman, did you think that he was going to be the next big thing in martial arts films?
I thought he was. He had the look, the leading man look, and he can act. So I said, cool, this is the guy. you know, sometimes reality sets in, and then it just, I don't know if it's luck or just, you know, or bad luck. Didn't get the right breaks for, because I think the other movies were too, just the regular type of movies, the action stuff. It didn't have something different like Perfect Weapon.
No, there was no Kenpo in him. He was just another cop or a criminal that shot a gun. Anybody can.
Yeah.
After that, it was kind of like, I was real excited when Street Night came out. I was like, all right, the new Jeff Speakman movie. And he's just kind of like why Under Siege is not one of my favorite Seagal movies. I'm just watching the martial artist fire a gun. It's just not the same for me.
Yeah, you know, people got to know that if it works, the first one, don't change it.
And, you know, another one you were in that a lot of people, and I just talked about this with Kathleen Kinmont not that long ago, because I'm actually a big fan of her.
She's great.
She is. She's probably the nicest woman I've ever met in my life. I can honestly say that. And, you know, you guys were in with Lorenzo, maybe your first Lorenzo outing there, Night of the Warrior, which was actually supposed to be written by Thomas Ian Griffin, I believe, another martial artist you've worked with.
Yes.
And, I mean,
we're old buddies, man.
How bad of a beating did you take in Night of the Warrior? Because there's no other way to say this. You guys look like you just beat the shit out of each other for real.
That was on the Cement Underground thing, wasn't that?
Yeah.
Oh, it was an all-nighter, freezing. People don't realize, sometimes when they see you're sweating and they think it's just, you know, like a sauna, we were freezing in the cement warehouse, and all night they just couldn't get the shots, and it was tough. But you know what? Through that, I think that really made my friendship with Lorenzo really solid, because he appreciated, you know, me just taking it, just whatever it takes. Let's make this work.
No, and the finished product was great. I'm a big fan of the film. When I interviewed him, I even told him, you know, what a big fan I was. It was because that really was the epitome of people just beating the crap out of each other.
Yeah, when you know what, and I think it was because of that, because of the kind of like the bond that you get from sharing pain all night together. You know, later when I was crazy enough to try to do my own little movie, the 18 Fingers of Death.
Great movie.
And I had Lorenzo, I called Lorenzo, hey, Lorenzo, you know, this is just my little movie, little passion project. He said, just right away, whatever you need, I'm there. And I said, oh, man. And I couldn't think of anybody better to play the part he did and what he did, too. He's such a trooper and just game to come play, not worried about making fun of himself.
Now, I know were you afraid, and I always ask this to anyone that's worked with this man because he's the scariest looking man in the world. Double Impact with Van Damme. Did you get to do any work with Bolo?
Oh, it's crazy. I actually, there was a scene, Bolo was going to get kicked into this electric panel, and it was going to short circuit, and he's going to fire, and all this and that's how he pretty much eats it. And he did not want to do it. He said, no, I'm not going to do that. So the stunt coordinator looked at me, okay, you're going to double him on this. So actually, I got to double him. So yeah, that was kind of like my brush against Bolo.
Everybody says he's the nicest man, and in the same sense, they say he's the most intimidating man too.
Oh yeah, his chest it's deep as you're wide. I just look at it, I was like, man, this guy is just solid.
No, he was great. He made quite a few movies that I liked. Unfortunately, I mean, he didn't make a ton, but what he made they're pretty good quality.
Yeah, he's definitely one of a kind. You know, he had that market. And then when you're fighting Bruce Lee, come on.
Well, yeah.
Doesn't get better than that. Jesus.
No, that's. But you were in. Now I'm going to get to 2 out of the 3. I said there were 3 big ones.
Okay.
The third, I call it the Ultimate Man movie because it's about 70 minutes long. Dolph Lundgren, Brandon Lee.
Oh,
Showdown
my goodness.
in Little Tokyo. I am literally, because I'm such a fan of the movie, half of my body is getting Yakuza style tattooed, but I'm not going to be cutting off my fingers for anyone, hopefully. But unfortunately, I know you didn't get to work with Bruce, but what was it like working with Brandon?
He was absolutely a pleasure. And I heard before that, because I guess he was having identity issues, feeling, you're the son of Bruce Lee. How much pressure is that?
Oh, yeah.
And he didn't want to embrace the martial arts because he wanted to be an actor. And then he finally, I think he just, knew his destiny. And so once he embraced that, that's exactly, look what happened. He just blew up. And I remember he was just talking off the set, and he was just saying, look at me, I'm half Asian, half white, and he just was feeling how lucky and blessed he was to be doing what he's doing. So it was a nice, humble moment.
Oh, he was great. Dolph Lundgren, I mean, for as massive as he is, his karate is fantastic. I mean, his kicks are great, especially for that size.
Oh, his legs go across the room. Well, I had a little fight with him in the club when he comes through.
Mm-hmm.
It was like 6 beats, so there's not that much time to rehearse. We just walk through it a couple times. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, all right, we're gonna shoot. So on action, he does a one hit. I do the block, and then I'm looking at his eyes. I can see he just blanked, and he just looked at me, and I said, "Oh, what is he going to throw? What he's going to hit me with?" And he just starts swinging. I said, "Oh, oh." I said, "Whoo." He's a big guy. I said, I do not want to get hit with that big ass fist.
Did you think that when you were? I know it's a weird question because I don't think anybody ever really thinks of it at the time. But did you ever figure that was another film that would go on to become such a cult classic over the years?
I knew it was fun. It was different, but not as big as I thought that it came out. But it was, and I'd say I was pretty blessed. I was all over the movie, places you don't know where I am, getting smacked at different people, and but also I doubled Carrot Tagawa. Probably one of the trickiest little stunt gags I've had to do. It was on the parade part.
Okay.
That Dolph throws him against this float that goes by,
mm-hmm.
and he's got the spear, and he's stuck on the little wheel.
Yeah.
So I had to put on a prosthetic spear on my back. Or was it the front? I think it was because I had to spin. Yeah, it came out of my front. So there's I don't know if you're familiar with the air ram.
Mm-mm.
It's a hydraulic thing that just basically launches you in the air.
Okay.
So I had to step on that while Dolph's right next to it, and he pretends like he throws me. So I have to fly through the air, land up on that the platform with my back slamming into the side as if I got stuck on there. So I had to try to stick it, and while I'm smacking my back, and it was like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning I was so tired and they couldn't get the shot. Then suddenly I got the call, oh, we're going to shoot it. And it was freezing outside. So all that combined, we got on the first take, and the stunt coordinator was legendary Terry Leonard. And I saw his face. He said, "Hot damn, got that thing." So he was really happy, which made me really happy.
Then you worked with Brandon again, and you were back in the laundromat scenes for
Rapid Fire. Yeah. Al Leong.
Yep.
Was in the fight, and we were both on this shoot in Hawaii, and they wanted us both to hurry up, just fly back for one day to shoot that scene. So we were both just right in from Hawaii, came to shoot that, and then flew off the next day. But yeah, we had a great time working with Brandon again.
Who? Because I know he was very, very young when his father passed, and yet he was so polished, especially in Rapid Fire. Who ended up training him? Do you even know?
I don't know if Dan Inosanto actually worked with him. I'm not sure.
I was always kind of curious because he fought so similar to the way his dad did, but with a little movie flair in it, of course, in the 90s. But
right.
You know, it was also around that time you started. I think it might have been the first time you guys worked together with the legendary Don the Dragon Wilson in Ring of Fire.
Yeah, that's my buddy.
Oh, he's a great guy. Great guy.
Yeah. We have laughs. He always, and you know what? Talking about a guy that just gives credit to people and has his ego is not there at all. He'll brag about stuff for people, and he always comes with the same story because the scene was a guy was going to swing the sword at him, and they want him to do a butterfly flip over it. Mm-hmm. The sword goes underneath, and he told, "I don't do that kind of stuff." So they had me come into double Don, and Don always said, "I've never been doubled by anybody. Just, James was the only buddy that has ever doubled me."
No.
Because I'm not going to do that kind of stuff.
That was a fun film. I like that. It was kind of the Asian West Side Story, Romeo and Juliet with the fighting arena of death. So I liked it. It was a nice blend of everything. It was a really good film.
Yeah. And again, I thank Don because when the Project Red Sun Rising came up,
good film.
Absolutely pushed and wanted me to play the role of Jaho. So so that was a great opportunity to get to really dig into a character.
But then you were in the most amazing martial arts movie. I've gone on record and said it's the perfect action movie. It's the most amazing martial arts movie. It's 90 minutes with only about 9 minutes of plot. Mission of Justice.
Oh my, wow, yes. PM Entertainment movies.
Oh, and I'm like that.
They crank them out 2 weeks at a time.
Oh, I mean, you were in the Gauntlet scene. Oh, you were in a few. You put the hold on Jeff Wincott, and then you were part of the Gauntlet and everything. I mean, that Gauntlet scene is one of the greatest Eskrima scenes I've seen in any movie. Right.
That was with Brigitte Nielsen, right?
Oh, yes. Yeah, she was really nice in that movie, too.
She was gorgeous and about 2 feet taller than I. I mean, look, I was like, how can you be that big? And then next to me was Mateus.
Yeah, she was taller than him.
Yeah. And I said, I'm supposed to be a bodyguard? What a great time. What great times on that.
Did you do any of the fight coordinating in that film?
No, Jeff Pruitt. Was Koichi with them? I think Koichi too. But Jeff Pruitt was there. He did a bunch with PM.
Now, I don't know if this is true, so I'm just going to ask you. I'll put you on the spot. The hot rumor here is that Wincott never used sticks before, and he just practiced for about an hour before that gauntlet scene. I've been in sticks for a long time, and his technique was flawless. I know there's editing in films, but did he really just learn to use those for that scene? Because that's pretty amazing.
I'm not sure if just that immediate, but he wasn't. That definitely wasn't his background. So no, he was pretty impressive. And great actor. Just really nice to work with. Also,
I mean, that's some people call it the third martial law film, because there's no continuity in any of them. That to me is just. It don't get no better.
I'm gonna have to watch that again.
It doesn't.
Where do you find those now? Are those on?
I had to buy the Blu-rays from Germany, to be honest with you. You get Martial Law 1, 2, and then Mission of Justice.
Okay.
And I showed my son and I just watched Mission of Justice like last weekend. I showed it to him. He likes Matthias Hues quite a bit, so I was like, "Oh, let's show you Mission of Justice," where he speaks 4 sentences, but yet is just massive.
Yeah. God, they need to start making those kind of movies again.
I wish they would.
It's just fun entertainment. It doesn't have to be so crazy.
No, and PM Entertainment, they were pumping them out left. And if PM Entertainment was still around, I would have, I would have tried to have gotten a job with them years ago, but unfortunately nothing coming out on the VHS, that kind of ruined everything with the video stores going away.
Yeah. And now Netflix takes everything.
Another martial artist that you got to work with, great martial artist that no one gives credit for, is Thomas Ian Griffin. You were, ironically, you're another Yakuza guy.
The old tattoos.
Yeah.
I'm actually on my IMDb just so I. Hey, I've had too many falls on the head.
I'm trying to keep them in order. I liked Ulterior Motive. That was really good. I like any of the Yakuza stuff. It's very fascinating to me. And he was a really good martial artist. And it was another one that he was real good, and then he just kind of disappeared.
Yeah, he was. I know he wanted to be more of a serious actor, so it's tough. I don't want to be caught up in being an action guy. I want to act.
I think I'd like to be an action guy.
Yeah, it's so much fun.
Then you did the movie. I'm going to tell you, I've interviewed 3 people from this movie so far. You're going to go down in this playlist.
Okay.
One of the greatest movies ever made, and beloved by all my readers. The story of a beaten-up teenage boy who is trained by a janitor to fight in the arena of death. I'm talking about the classic movie Showdown with Billy Blanks.
Oh, Billy Blanks, my God.
The man who can throw the nicest kicks in the world. No offense.
When that big dude jumps in the air and that big strong leg is coming at your face, you're like, oh man. It's a snap to it also.
Showdown. I mean, I know you were in it toward the end. You attack him at the school there, but
there was on the stage.
Yeah. That movie is so good.
Yeah. Billy's just an amazing athlete. I mean, he just effortlessly, he just flies up in the air, and that leg just comes at you.
I mean, he was, what was he, maybe 2-3% fat at best? I mean, that was like pure muscle coming at you.
Yeah, maybe. He called me to do, what's the other one? Him and I fought again.
Oh, Balance of Power.
Balance of Power.
Great fight at the end.
Another test. This was in Toronto. winter in a warehouse, no heat, and you know, like you just said, Billy has maybe 0.5% body fat.
Yeah.
So we're both looking across each other, or our teeth is just and action, okay. And then they come in between times and spray water to make us look hot and sweaty. It was a test.
Your fight was great in that. You know, your fight in Showdown was great. It's just he made a lot. Didn't you do a little bit of stunt work in Tough and Deadly as well with him and Roddy Piper?
Oh yeah, no, you know what? I think I came and then couldn't get a shot. I know I was on set. I don't remember what I did.
Billy was another one. He had that great run of straight to video, and then Tybo. I mean, nothing more needs to be said after that.
He got smart, man. He just killed it.
It's genius to take kata and some basic moves. You speed it up, and no one else ever thought of it. All the power to him.
Yeah, and he's really good as an instructor. You know, really motivating for people. So he found his calling.
He's the only Showdown actor I've yet to interview.
Oh,
we've gotten everybody else.
Grab him, man.
Yeah, I'm trying. It's he's a little hard to pin down.
Oh, well, I'm going to go shake him down then.
we get Ali Yong. All three of us can go after him. Yeah. Just can't get kicked.
Yeah.
You worked with Steven Seagal in the 90s, too. You know, on Deadly Ground, Under Siege 2. You had a few with him. Now, a lot of people say that he's, which, of course, a guy that size, pretty intimidating. Did you get along good with him, though?
Seagal?
Yeah.
Actually, really well. Yeah. He always, and my other friend, because for some reason he always, when he comes up to me, hey, Jimmy Lew. And he actually said one time, he said, why is it every time I see you, I just want to hit you? And then I said, oh, great, thanks, Steve. I've taken everything he's done. You know, even he's like just testing out stuff, and because he had me, the coordinator on Deadly Ground was busy on second unit, so he told me to take over that big bar fight scene. And Steven said, I want to bring in just, you know, these classic old-timer stunt guys. I said, great, I'll make the calls, but Steven, they're older. You've got to be nice. You can't be... So they're on set. They're ready to action. He does one of his good old Steven Seagal, kind of like a push-shove with the chest. You know, just pop. This guy hit the ground, and his chest was like, oh. I said, no, Steven, he's not a young man. Don't do that. But he's a little out of control when he comes down to that.
Do you think it was just not used to pulling the punches, or just kind of trying to be intimidating?
Yeah, be intimidating.
No.
Yeah, there's another story. This guy came in to see about stunt doubling one of the actors, and I'm standing there. They're talking just right in front of me, just 2 feet. So I'm watching. This guy tells, yeah, you know, I trained with Gene LaBelle, and I don't know if you know the Gene LaBelle story.
I do know the story. I don't know if it's true, but yes, I do know the story.
Yeah, so this guy says that, and Steven, he just glances over to me, and I saw his eyes. Then he said, oh, okay, let me see what you do. What would you do if I did a punch here? He punches him in the chest, like full on, and the guy drops to his knees. This is like, Steven, what are you doing? We're just talking here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, big as he is, he's got a gigantic ego. But you know, that's I guess what comes across on screen. That's Steven Seagal.
Yeah, he's got that presence, and
yeah, and he is good. I can't question. He knows his martial arts.
you know, somebody else that knows their martial arts that never gets the credit they deserve is Mark Dacascos. And you did choreography and Instinct to Kill with him, correct?
Instinct to Kill. We did 22 episodes on The Crow, the TV series.
Right. I always forget about
Vancouver. That one. No, he's like my little brother. We are very close. I'm so fortunate to have him as a friend.
Amazing martial artist.
So underrated for so many years. It's just, and he's a real martial artist. I mean, his whole background of his father, from that young kid, little teenager, fights. That they had to go and fight. Wasn't doing anything but fighting in tournaments and stuff. So Mark's the real deal.
I mean, Only the Strong. He did capoeira. He was doing kung fu and drive.
And he had to learn. He had to learn there the capoeira.
Oh.
I mean, this is not. That's not his background.
No,
and he picks it up.
That's a hard style. I couldn't do two things in that one. And then it was just, effortlessly he would do that. Then the next movie he's doing like Drive was mostly like kung fu that he did. Like John Wick 3, that was kind of a hybrid of everything, a little Americanized there. But I mean, he can fight any style. It's and he never really. When people talk about great martial artists, he's always left out of that conversation for some reason, which is a tragedy.
He's so underrated, and I'm so thrilled, on John Wick that the more the mass market got to see Mark Dacascos instead of the little films he was been stuck in, and he was great in that. He brought that character to the screen. It wasn't written that way. Of his kind of like his adoration for John Wick and this whole thing. It just made that character so lovable.
I like too how he was a little thinner and he shaved his head, as to where Keanu Reeves had longer hair, and it was a nice contrast there. I really like that.
Yeah, and they wanted to really make it that contrast, and he's the bad guy.
Now, you pretty much worked primarily here in the States. You didn't do a lot of movies overseas, did you?
I got to do one movie in Taiwan. A friend of mine was producing, and hey, you want to make basically one of the chop shop movies? And I said, I don't speak Chinese, so we dub it. Sorry, I go over, it's full on, just absolutely Chinese kung fu movie, period piece. And so they give me my dialogue, so I would say it in English, and then they would talk back to me in Chinese. I have no idea what they're saying back to me. I just wait, and okay, my turn. And then it was such a blessing, because that's where I learned this entire style of kung fu movies, Hong Kong style. And man, you had to learn a lot. The coordinator, they would come in, just work out the stuff, and you get to the set, and cameras are there waiting. Then they show you, whatever, 10 moves. Okay, and shoot. You have to memorize this stuff, get the timing down just like that, and then they shoot the next set, and I think that took me to the next level of being a fight performer and a fight coordinator, learning the extreme going that way. So I look at it, that's one of the milestones for my career as education and the experience. Because of that, because I came back and I had all this great footage, doing that type of fights. So I found out that that's when John Carpenter was starting to prep Big Trouble in Little China, and he was looking for a fight coordinator. So I put together my reel, and he was looking for somebody that had this whole kung fu style, but mixed with an American street fight stuff. So I had both in the reel, so I sent it to him, and I got the call to come meet John Carpenter at 20th Century Fox. And so I got there, we hit it off. He loved the reel. He said, "You're perfect." And he offered me the job right then, there, and I said, "What? I'm on a studio movie as the fight coordinator." So,
now,
yeah, pretty huge jump for me.
As a martial artist, you were a martial artist, of course, first and foremost, I should say. Obviously, a fan of all these films. What was it like then, being you were pretty much here in the States, to get a chance to work with Jackie Chan in Rush Hour?
Oh, I've known Jackie for many, many, many years. Because we had me and my buddy, we had the Inside Kung Fu magazine.
Okay.
So I was in charge of, doing the cover shoots, doing like the technique sections.
I used to read that.
Things like that. Yeah. So Jackie was doing The Big Brawl.
Great film.
So he was in town. So then we got in touch with him to come do a piece, for his PR, to come and shoot a cover, shoot, some techniques. So, and being the martial artist at the office, I got to be the dummy for most of these guys coming through. And again, it was a blessing in disguise that I got to touch hands with Dan Inosanto, all these people, and then Jackie Chan. So I'm doing technique with Jackie. And that was just surreal. Like, this is Jackie Chan. We're touching hands. Nicest guy, just brilliant. He's such a smart businessman and a creative genius. So we all became great friends. And today, my buddy's still kind of like one of his closest friends. So most time when Jackie comes in town, we go out, eat, goof around. So
yeah,
pretty good.
I've been a fan of his since the Cannonball Run, back when he first tried to break through in America. Fan to this day. I love his movies. Amazing.
It's all him. He's the creative genius behind everything. Yeah.
Another, by today's standards, at least cinema-wise, I don't know, I guess I'll ask you about the background if you know. One of my favorite guys to watch on screen is the man right now, Jason Statham. And you got to do some stunt work in Safe, which is considered one of his best films. Did you get to do any fighting with him on that?
No. I thought, oh, cool. Because I was a huge fan. Because as an actor, he's such a great actor in his presence. And was it in Philly? Yeah, Philly.
Mm-hmm.
And it was snowing. That's cool. I'm going to, come in and do. And the scene he wasn't even in the scene.
No.
I said, oh, nah, shoot. So I never got to work with him, not even meet him.
His martial arts are, whatever style that is, I know there's always some movies involved, but, it's pretty cool. It makes for a hell of a good time on the screen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's, I've seen some of his fights, and he's just really natural. He's such an athlete.
Then you doing all these R-rated action movies, you got a little bit into the more family fare. You did stunt work for a movie that I really liked. My son and I both really liked it, Underdog Kids. Once again, back with Philip Ree.
Oh, Yeah. Well, this is a story because Simon was supposed to do it because that's his brother.
Mm-hmm.
And we were having dinner. It was probably like 3 weeks before the shoot was going to start. So we got up, and Simon's been thinking about getting his hip replacement. And when he got up, he just yelled out, "Oh!" And he could barely walk. And then we're just hobbling back. I said, "Simon, I think you better get this taken care of now." And he said, "Oh, please, can you just, do this show, for Philip, and then just help him out? And, it's tiny, tiny budget." I said, "Heck yeah, well, we're brothers." So one good deed gets paid back, because on that show, that's where I met my wife.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, so didn't make money, but got an amazing lady.
That's a better payoff at the end of the day.
Yeah, much better.
You did choreography for another great family movie, putting you back with Don the Dragon and the amazing Cynthia Rothrock, the martial arts kid.
Yeah.
Another good film.
Yeah, we went to Florida. And Don's kind of like got the hookup all over Florida, man. So, yeah, we had a good time.
Yeah, hopefully part 2
and
eventually
Cynthia's
makes
a
its
sweetheart.
way. Cynthia is such a nice woman.
It's great energy. Actually, we did a Comic-Con the year before. Another buddy of mine hooked up with the San Diego Comic-Con to create our own panel. So we put together, we had Cynthia, me, Mark Dacascos at the Comic-Con panel. And that's when John Wick was already out. So packed room. And we just had the best time. The audience was just going crazy for everything. And we thought we were going to be doing another panel this year. Actually, I pitched them. I said, "Why don't we do a Big Trouble in Little China panel? Bring in the guys." And so San Diego Comic-Con, they were like, "Wow, if you could do that, that's going to be huge." And then, of course, crazy stuff happened.
Yeah.
First time Comic-Con, how many years? First time they hadn't had their Comic-Con.
Yeah, there's nothing this year.
Yeah. Yep.
Hopefully we'll get to see the martial arts kid too. I know it's been talked about for a long time.
Yeah. I keep in touch with, Don's brother, James Wilson. He's the one that helped put it together. They've been talking. They've been trying. But, money's hard to raise sometimes.
Yeah, I still say a good old-fashioned Kickstarter. Us fans would pay for that stuff.
Uh-huh.
But,
they did get some for the first one.
The end sets up perfectly for the sequel. We're hanging in suspense. We can't wait till the kid's 30 before we do another one. We got to get moving on this.
Yeah, it's martial art dude.
but then again, Cynthia Rothrock hasn't aged a day in 25 years, so anything's possible.
I think she's going the other way.
She is. It's amazing.
Getting younger. And I actually drove her down from here to San Diego for that Comic-Con. So she's just so full of energy, just like a little teenage girl. And I was like, man, Cynthia. Yeah, great attitude.
We talked, you did this work for PM Entertainment, a lot of these other films. And, now you're doing stunts for some of the biggest movies in the world. Inception and, of course, Avengers Endgame.
That was crazy.
What's better? I shouldn't even say what's better. What's not as dangerous? Doing stuff for Avengers Endgame, a Marvel movie, or stuff like Iron Fist and that, or the old PM Entertainment stunt work?
PM's probably a little tougher because you physically have to do. There's no way to cheat stuff. So that's back in the day before, computer animation stuff and, wire removal. So you don't get all those little tricks, and also you don't have the time to rehearse and refine your action.
Mm-hmm.
But the stuff they're doing on these Marvel and DC stuff is pretty intense and pretty, I would say, in a sense, scientific. You really have to know the rigging and all the things that really make things come alive for that kind of genre. But I have to say, probably one of the highlights for my career is being able to do the Luke Cage series, the season 1.
Mm-hmm, great show.
Yeah, that, and I have to brag that got to win an Emmy for that.
Yes.
Which is pretty amazing. That statue is just gorgeous.
Well, I have a
That's
Luke
one of my
Cage.
prides.
I have a Luke Cage statue, not an Emmy, but I do have a piece of the show too, I guess.
Oh, cool.
The only thing I thought was, and no disrespect to, and I can't think of his name, I'm sorry, the actor that played Luke Cage, I thought they missed...
Mike Coulter.
They missed the boat, and I really think, because I'm a comic collector, martial arts fan, Michael Jai White should have gotten that part, in my opinion. He might not even audition for it, but that's who I always would like to have seen play Nick Cage.
Mike would have made my job so easy. We would have had crazier stuff, because Mike can do anything.
Yeah.
I've known Mike a long time. And I met the showrunner, Chael Coker, when we were first in talks. And we were sitting and talking about, the people that's going to be, in the running for Luke Cage. And I threw a, hey, he said, I know Mike, really well. Mike John White. And he said, the exact words, it's a little too old. I said, damn.
Jeez.
I said, okay. Nothing I can do about that.
No, he's another one like Billy.
No.
I mean, he's a monster, and he's doing these jumping spin kicks into Superman punches. It's amazing how agile a guy that size is.
He's a freak athlete, and not only he's good for show, he's good for real. I mean, he could fight for real, not just for screen.
Yeah, he did Black Dynamite. I know was crazy popular. It's a great movie, but he did another one called Blood and Bone that really showed off what he could do, and that's one that anybody.
Yeah,
needs to see.
Bathroom scene was great.
Yes,
that he just tore up, just clean.
Yeah, I was supposed to interview him, but that didn't happen. But one day it'll happen.
Yeah.
But I mean, we joked in the beginning. You were always the guy that got killed. But at the end of the day, you can laugh at everybody because, like I said, you did stunts in Avengers Endgame, and that's the highest grossing movie in history. So you got the last laugh.
Isn't that crazy? Wow. I mean, it was, yeah.
It deserved it. I mean, like I said, I've been a comic collector for, the better part of 35 years. And, when I was a kid, I had to learn martial arts. You get beat up for reading comic books. Now people are waiting in line for, months on end to go see these movies.
Oh, yeah. Now they respect it because, it's absolutely, it set the bar for movies, action movies. I don't know what they can do to make it better next. I really don't know.
They'll think of something. I'm sure their wealth of comics they can go through, and with the technology today, it's kind of endless.
Yeah.
Now, what do you have on the horizon? Anything that you've got fresh coming out or in the works you can talk about?
My wife has been pushing me for the last 2 years. I've been working on a book. It's called Fights, Camera, Action. And it's something that I always like, God, I wish I had this book when I was just starting. Because it's not a autobiography or biography, it's kind of a slant to, but it's more of a textbook to break down exactly how to do movie fights, between shooting it, planning it, you know, all that goes behind it.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to create more of a textbook for like a film student to look at this. But in between is little stories of how I came to this conclusion, what works through this experience on this movie, this show. So there's kind of a growth story between it, and hopefully a little philosophy between everything. So, yeah, I'm kind of, and it's writing it. I find writing is really tough, man. Some days you just look at that page or the computer and say, I got nothing right now.
Yeah. Oh, I know how that goes. Trust me. Some days you can write for hours. Some days you just sit there and walk away.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's one. And then, I've been really trying to build my YouTube channel, which is also Fights, Camera, Action. So this is all about, you know, cinema action stuff. So I wanted to make it like the place for action people to come check out things. And this is finally, after 2.5 years, finally got the name Fights, Camera, Action. It's my registered trademark now. So the legal things you got to go through just to get that. I think it's all about the government wants money.
You heard it, fans, and I just clicked subscribe. Fights, Camera, Action. I see you've got the amazing there on the very first Amy Johnson video there.
Oh,
amazing
yeah.
martial artist. Super nice.
I love her
too. She was so nice.
She's such a sweetheart, but so talented. See, and that's exactly, I guess my thing is to find a way to give back and highlight people like that, to, you know, whatever I can, you know, for new talent, and just to be a part and give back to what has given me a pretty good life doing this stuff.
Do you have any advice you could give to people that are wanting to maybe get into stunt work, movie work, and that right now?
I hopefully should buy my book. But that is, you know, like in anything, you need a strong foundation. So to really learn not just physical, but also the technical things, and to have the right attitude, because it's not an easy business. You got to have pretty tough skin, and it's got to be something you really want to do, because that's not going to carry you if it isn't a huge passion. There's a lot of times you're going to get knocked to the ground. You got to get back up.
Now, for all your fans out there, where can they find you online? Do you have a website, Facebook, Twitter?
Yeah. Subscribe to Fights, Camera, Action, YouTube. I'm on Instagram. I think my name is under Dragon Master James.
Nice.
I think that's my regular. Yeah. That's the other name that I'm trying to make synonymous with me. Dragon Master. Don Wilson is the dragon.
He's the dragon, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so those are probably the two best. And Facebook, you know, James Lew.
Now, I will put a link in the description of the interview here for the YouTube channel. Like I said, fans, I just subscribe. You need to too. But yeah, I mean, from They Call Me Bruce to Endgame, I think I like They Call Me Bruce better, I won't lie. But in everything in between, it has been an honor to talk to you today.
Oh, it's my honor and pleasure. Oh, and this is just in the works, but it still goes back to trying to promote, my love of action and all the fans. I am creating an online film festival, short films. I'm still locking down exactly the details, probably like 3-minute short, because there's got to be so much talented filmmakers around the world. But most of the time you think filmmakers really don't have much money when they're starting off. So how could they get to a big film festival that's in Beverly Hills here? Mm-hmm. If you live in Germany or, South Africa, how are you going to spend the money? Fly here, attend this thing, go to get a hotel. So with this pandemic, I kept thinking, like, why can't we have an international film festival? Nobody has to leave home. I can get these submissions. I got Mark DeCassos on board. I'm talking with Lorenzo Lamas. So I'm going to get this, hopefully, really high caliber people that would come on as judges or advisory board, and someone could submit from anywhere in the world. And if that brilliant filmmaker, we feel like this guy's the best, and then we post the winners, and maybe some producer or director sees this, the winners, and said, God, let me get in touch with this guy. Mm-hmm. So how cool would that be if I've been able to help discover the new filmmaker of action films?
Find the new John Woo, you never know.
Oh, yeah, John Woo, man.
Actually, I don't know if you can find another John Woo. I think that's a one of a kind there.
Yeah. Ang Lee was great. I have to say, Crouching Tiger, beautiful movie. So, yeah, people like that. I mean, that's hopefully make dreams come true, because I said part of the strategy of that too is it's trying to open up. Finally, one of my dreams is my idol in the business is Paul Newman. When he created Paul Newman's Own, mm-hmm. It's about selling a salad dressing, mm-hmm. and so you buy that, and how he has it set up, 100% profits go to charity. So that's the same concept I'll start with this film festival. So, whatever small fee, I would take that money and donate to charity.
That's very cool.
Yeah. So, yeah, I get to do my little good thing in both ways, promote people and help people in need.
Karma twofold.
Yeah. And I don't have to leave home. Even if I'm busy on the set, I can get on the phone and I can start watching stuff and doing stuff mobile. So I think it just opened a whole new world for me.
When you get back, if you get back to doing more filming and that, if you're ever looking for somebody to be henchman number 2 or 3, don't forget this phone number, because I'll be the man.
All right, send me your stuff.
Email me your stuff. I'd be that guy that stands in the corner and gets beat up.
Oh, you got to start somewhere.
Yeah, there's no shame in getting beat up by a legend. No shame in that.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's so fun. And then okay, that was great. Get back up. We got to do another one. You're like, oh, okay. But I have to say, you come alive. When you hit that ground, you say, "Oh yeah, we are living now."
And like you said, though, to me it sounds like an exciting, a great. Obviously, you've done it your whole life. You're a great way to make a living. You've worked with everybody. Uh-huh. Like I said, I can't thank you enough. Please let me know when you finish your book so we can promote it for you.
Yes, thank you.